I'm just messing. Hey, y'all. This is your boy, Legendary Onyx, and we want to just say happy 420, happy Easter, happy Resurrection Sunday, whatever you say it is. And we want to welcome you to a very special episode called High, Horny, Lifted, and Lit. This is a live stream where we just talk about a little bit of everything. We talk about weed, sex, kink, faith, and queerness, and all in between body positivity and sex positive spaces. Again, I am Legendary Onyx, your host, and I'm going to take you down this journey on a guide where I be your guide. We won. I have the pleasure of being with some amazing artists. First, to my left, yeah, that's my left, the one that makes the L, is the artist, the musician, the dancer, the community advocate, Jahari the hippie.
What's up, Mr. Legendary? How you doing?
I am wonderful. And right next to is mi amor, my Sherry.
Hello, people.
We ain't got them. Someone who I just love and adore from day one. And I just want y'all to know that this is the fourth wall, and we are in my living room. We just kicking it.
It's nice in here.
For real.
It's real nice. So whether you're rolling up one, or you're popping a gummy, or you just want to have a little tea, we see you. We see y'all. And so we just want to talk about the idea of the pleasure and the sacredness of the body, of faith, of queerness, and how to enjoy all that and everything in between. So before we go a little bit deep, just a little deep, close your eyes. So since we're this first, we want to, Jahari, just introduce yourself, tell a little bit about yourself.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jahari the hippie. I am an artist based here in Chicago, lead singer of the band that you may have heard of called Sonic Healing. Outside of performing and writing music, I am also the chairman of the Southside Health Advocacy Resource Partnership. SHARP is the acronym. And I am also a member of the Chicago Methamphetamine Task Force. I actually creative directed the Don't Die High campaign that you all saw on billboards and in magazines and at your local outreach station. That was your boy right here, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Woo, woo, woo.
And I heard you was a resident. You got your band got a residency?
We do. We have a residency every Friday and Saturday. You can come catch us in the West Loop in Fulton Market at Grapes and Grains, 858 West Lake. Also, I mean, since we plugging stuff, we're headlining Midsummer Fest, June 15th. You can come and see us. I hope, Hassan, please don't kill me, but I'll make the announcement here first. We're also playing Market Days August the 9th. And Pride Southside July the 5th, along with some other stuff. So it's a lot of opportunity to see me all summer.
Listen, you must got Red Bull in your veins, because, baby, I'd be tired. What about you, Yanni?
Hello, people, lovely people. I am a community advocate. I've been in the cannabis industry for, it's been over 6 years. Worked in different avenues and for different companies. I've been working for community advocacy since I was 6 years old, and I'm here to talk about everything. So y'all can throw anything at me. I'm here to just talk my stuff and speak my truth, and just be a support to all of the beautiful people here today, as far as Onyx and this lovely person right here that I just got to know. That's amazing. So I'm here just to talk my stuff.
Okay. So we're gonna do a little bit of icebreaker. We're gonna break the ice. Jahari, if you could create your own strand of weed based on your energy and your sex life, what would you name it and why?
Well, it'll have to be Galactic Invitation, which is also the name of my EP that's being released. But I'm calling. I have an EP coming out on Memorial Day. So yeah, be on the lookout for that. But back to the question, I would call my strand Galactic Invitation because it's always an out-of-body experience and a celestial experience when you get to explore all of this. So yeah, I want to invite you into my galaxy.
Hey, I like that. I want to steal that name. I would call mine my name, Yanni Hayes, because I'm a full experience, but also because I think that it's a whole different experience to experience just cannabis in a different way, where you get to either smoke it or have it in a concentrate. And because I've been in the industry so long, it's just, I know how different ways to consume it. I actually cook with cannabis. So you can have jerk chicken with me and it can be infused. Or you can have cornbread, jalapeno honey cornbread. I cook, that's infused. So I just would call my strand my name because experiencing me is a whole thing, baby.
Okay.
What would you call yours?
For real.
I think I would call it a legendary moment. The thing is that when people see me, they only see the outer. They see someone who's tall, someone who's strong, someone who's dark skinned.
Handsome.
Thank
Put that in there.
Who is handsome. But I may or may not have. I remember one time a partner and I was making out, and they were about my height, over 300 pounds, and I picked them up and threw them on the bed. Ooh.
They ain't expect that.
Talk about pressure.
I make it do what it do, baby. So what's, and I'm gonna start with you, Yanni. What's one unexpected moment where your spirituality or faith intersected with your sexuality?
I grew up very religious as far as what you should do and what you should not do. I was always unconsciously fighting against what the norm was without me even knowing. I was always very outspoken, and that ended up leading me into a life where people chose for me to be a spokesperson for advocacy at a young age. For me, my sexuality, I was always attracted to women. I always loved women. And I never saw anything wrong with it. So what people were probably trying to put in me and tell me was wrong, I was in a whole different world. And I think that I was blessed to be so detached from what people was telling me, because I was in my own world. You know, I was attracted to women. I was attracted to beautiful women, all different sizes, all different shapes, all different colors, and no one could really tell me that something was wrong with that. And so I think that that was just really the Creator covering my mind and covering who I was and making me feel safe in my own truth. I didn't really notice that that people thought something was wrong with me until they told me. So I was just in my own space, in my own mind. But as far as, read that last part for me again, because I want to make sure I answer the question correctly.
How have you allowed it to intersect when it comes to spirituality, and what is an unexpected moment where they intersected?
I feel like spirituality has nothing to do with what people tell you what you should and should not be. You know, it's your connection with the Creator. It has nothing to do with someone telling you how you should identify what you should and should not do. I've never identified that as being, oh, somebody telling me, oh, somebody is wrong for doing this. I've always thought you wrong for telling them that they wrong. So, it's allowed me, my spirituality has allowed me to be free and unapologetic and not care. And I've always been able to bulldoze as a 113, 115 pound woman, which I think I kind of gained a little bit more weight, but nobody got to know that. But it has allowed me to like bulldoze through things of just saying, do you love this person or not? And it don't have nothing to do with their sexuality or their color or whatever bullshit you saying to make an excuse for why you don't show up for them and support them. You know, that's more of you projecting on them. You know, I've just always thought spirituality is between you and the color or whatever, between you and the Creator. You know, spirituality between you and the Creator, how you show up and how you love yourself, and so it shows up for other people, and so you love people better when you show up for yourself.
Can I get a piece of that?
I ain't gonna cut you off, but I'm gonna do the. I don't believe in the church finger, but we're gonna keep it moving.
Okay,
No. It's your turn.
Yeah, I just want a small piece of that because when I'm having these conversations, I like to tell people that I come in with 3 strikes and I'm already out. I'm black, I'm gay, and I am an affirmed Christian. What I will say is that as a child, the interesting dichotomy of it all was that I was affirmed in who I was at a very, very young age with my family and being in the neighborhood that I grew up in. I'm from Cabrini Green, near North Side. I come from a very politically active and culturally active family. So I've leaned on that side of privilege when it came to me being able to express my whole self authentically and living who I am. But going to church as a young boy, you know, they quote the scriptures and tell you what you're doing is wrong. And as an adult, having to unlearn those behaviors, because there's an understanding that religion is political, but spirituality is personal, and you are to get to know God on your own. But when you go into queer spaces with that type of ideology that like, yeah, I'm here and I love God, you know, you are kind of ostracized even within our community because they don't understand how you can affirm a religious ideology that is basically telling you that you're damned to hell without truly understanding that I'm not subscribing to the religion. I am deeply immersed in the spirituality of it and cultivating and having my own relationship with God, and I encourage others to do so as well.
That's real beautiful. My answer ain't as deep as y'all. If I were to think of a moment, I am very much an empath. If you know me, you know me. And so one time, I was having relations with 2 other individuals, and I touched one of the people, and when I touched him, I felt something. And it was like very sad, and I felt grief. So I removed myself from the scene, took a shower. While I was in the shower, I had a little conversation with the Most High. And after the individual left, I found out his cat was dying, he was on the verge of losing his job, and his partner had cancer and was in like stage 4, 3 or 4. So I'm like, so that was a moment where the queerness mixed in with my spirituality. I'm a multifaceted person, so there's the kink and fetish side, there's the queer side, and then there's the religious side. The reason why sometimes those don't mix in is partly because I have parents who are very religious and been married over 47 years. both my grandparents were married over 50 years, and that's what I saw, the religious aspect. But I love who I love, and they're not ready to have those conversations. Both my parents over 70, and we have kind of a military conversation. Don't ask, don't tell.
No, I can understand that.
I can't. Let you know.
No, I can understand it from this perspective of people being very unbending in their mindset and in their thinking because they've never seen anything outside of that. And it doesn't leave an excuse for them not being open-minded and seeing, because if we believe in the spirituality and in God is so not within a restrict. It's not God. God is not restricted. It's so big, so vast, right? But people create God to be who they want God to be for them, so that they can have an excuse to not understand others. And that's just how I've kind of understood religious people versus spiritual people.
Well, I also say it like this. My father is a staunch apostolic preacher.
Apostolic.
And
holiness or hell.
And when he talks about holiness is always right, he's also talking about the fact that my sex outside of marriage, period. Getting a baby outside of marriage. Getting drunk. So I love and respect him for that. That if he gonna send you to hell, he's consistent.
He don't discriminate.
He doesn't discriminate. And so I that's the conversation my former partner and I had, was in spite of him not being in a place where he can accept my queerness, my father had never missed a football game, had never missed a speech competition. And so when he had $2 or $3 rubbed together and I needed, he always gave it to me, even when I didn't ask. So I'm able to understand at 70, almost 71, change will be harder for you than it will be me. My mother, older than my father, because if she ever heard me tell her age.
Well, we got mom in the studio audience. Hey, mom.
But yeah, it's that aspect of, you have to, my father has a saying, consider the source. And so I know he doesn't mean ill will for it, but he will never know Legendary. And even my family who knows my queer side, they not ready for some of the things that Legendary does or will do to someone, or can do to someone just by the words that he says to someone.
All right now.
But we're going to move right along on a little history lesson. So let's take a little history journey with cannabis and sex. And just remember that, as the old folks say, ain't nothing new on this sun. For real.
Facts.
This goes back to ancient Cairo and Kemet. Weed was used for sacred rituals. It deepens intimacy and pleasure. And then if we fast forward to the U.S., now people are criminalized for just having weed, and that criminalization includes our black, our brown, our queer, the immigrants in our communities, And if we're going to talk about it, we're all an immigrant to this community, but we won't go there today. And it's not just about weed, it's about control and how we trying to control the body and pleasure and what that looks like. Thinking about the AIDS epidemic and how some people just used it just to relieve the pressure of the pain. And so, yes, sometimes we misuse the weed, as my auntie would say.
You smoking on the weed now.
Just like she say, the Facebook. But we misuse it, but it's about just understanding its purpose and its power.
Yeah.
And sometimes we overlook our power.
The more you know with Legendary Onyx.
So let's just go deeper into just discussion about how we can connect cannabis and kink and spirituality. Let's just talk about your own personal sexual liberation journey. What has that looked like?
You first?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so people may or may not know that I used to be a stripper once upon a time. So I have been in many unique situations while at the same time engaged in things that strippers do to make a little extra money on the side. So I have found myself in very, very precarious positions and situations when it comes to my sexual exploration. And the time that I was involved in it, I was very, very unapologetic about what it was that I was doing. While at the same time, I know that I was navigating that particular space through trauma that I hadn't healed from, and I was using substances to numb me from the actions that I was partaking in. And then once I got me together, I was able to smoke a blunt, do this or do that for the enjoyment of it while I was actually interacting with somebody else and being able to share that moment with them. And, oh, I can smoke this blunt and my nipples get a little bit more harder. And I might be more open to try some stuff that used to be out of obligation as a means to survive turned into a really deep exploration of what pleases me and satisfies me on my own volition. Yeah.
That's deep.
I hope I answered it right.
It's my turn.
Now you got to use your big voice.
Well,
Like we used to tell the kids.
You know, I got a big voice. For me, my experience with cannabis or with weed started when I was like 18, 19 years old, fresh out of high school. I started college. I was going to a predominantly white college. I was one of 5 black women that went to the college. And I was consuming, I guess, to suppress my own issues, my own problems. And it led to me diving into other things. I dived into Xanax at one point because I was trying to cope. I was trying to suppress the issues that I had with myself. I grew up in a very religious background where everything was a taboo. Me smoking weed was a taboo. And when I started smoking weed and trying to get through college or whatever, something clicked. I can't tell you when, where, or why, but something clicked where I was like, this is a passion. It's not something that I'm using to run away from things. It was a coping mechanism at one point. But I was like, this is something that I can actually do as a job. And when I started this journey, everyone in my family was like, this is not a job. You trying to be a drug dealer. You know, that was the first thing I got. You trying to be a drug dealer. You trying to do this. You trying to do that. I got a whole lot of negative connotation behind of what I was doing. And then when I ended up landing a job with a huge company, that was in the cannabis industry, but it was all like low key. But I was getting paid and I had benefits. That's when people started taking me serious about my journey with cannabis, and then I started being able to use it in a free form where I was not ashamed behind it. I was able to use it, and I was able to actually introduce a lot of my elderly family members that were suffering from Alzheimer's, arthritis, pains in their joints, pain in their backs. They had surgeries. They were coming to me as their pharmacist for different cannabis products to help them cope with different issues. And that's when I said, oh, this is a product that I can actually use to help people that look like me that have been told that this is a taboo for them to use cannabis, but they've been using it and growing it and being incarcerated by it. So that was my journey with like smoking weed, and then like venturing into a dark space, and then venturing into a space where I was like, this is a money-making space where people that look like me can actually be helped and healed from it. So that was my journey. You know, it went up, down, and all around, but I'm here now.
You was here. You was here.
Wow.
Yeah.
I ain't even know all of that.
Yeah.
Come on, little mama.
Gave you a little sneak peek, you know.
Come on, little mama. Oof. That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never really indulged in the weed.
The weed.
Not the weed.
The weed. Auntie would be real proud right now.
It was really just, however, I have been on different antidepressants since I was 28. I'm 42 now. And
Stop the cat.
October 9, 1982
I thought you were still in your 30s.
at Michael Reese Hospital. Nope. I wish I was some days. I'll be 43 in October. But for me, it was more so edibles that I tried to indulge in more of. And that is partly because I noticed that an edible will calm me down quicker than the over-the-counter drug when I've had different life situations to happen. So like I had amnesia some years ago, and when I got amnesia and had a bad concussion, what was working antidepressant-wise stopped. And it was making my memory go even worse. And so for a while, at least a couple of times a month, I would take an edible in between figuring out if I want to stay on medication. So far, I'm on something that works, and now I just take it to relax. But yeah, it's a different feeling when you're taking something that the white coats say it'll help you, and it really is continuously hurting you.
Yeah.
That's because there's big money in sickness and pharmaceuticals. So the goal isn't to heal you or to cure you. It is to maintain the sickness, but I digress.
No.
Come on.
If we're going to tell the truth, we're going to tell the truth, right?
Okay, so let's tell the truth. Oh my God, I'm about to get canceled.
No, you're not, because we going to always support.
As many leaps and bounds as we have had with technology and understanding biology and chemistry, it is jarring to me that we have not found a sustainable cure for cancer and for HIV and for HPV and for herpes and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And the reason that is like that we cannot ignore is because sickness is a multi-trillion-dollar industry. And what I find is that pharmaceutical companies, not just them, but doctors as well, and the healthcare systems and insurance companies, and are much more interested, in helping you maintain your sickness than curing it, which is why access to preventative medications or medications that can really, really take you to the other side of things are much more harder to access given certain types of insurances, whereas interventive medications are very easy to get. Like, it's easy to get an antibiotic, but if you look at the situation, you look at a patient's medical history, you look at their sexual behaviors, you look at whatever is going on psychosomatically, then you know is that I can get them these pills to cure this burn right now, but 9 times out of 10 they'll be back to, to get some more pills, as opposed to, hey, we have a cure that we can stick you one time and your whole body will be resistant to that particular bacteria. But again, I don't want to
recycling the patient.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if we're going to call a spade, and we're getting ready to move on to the next question after I say this.
Project Vita, don't kill me.
What doesn't kill you make you stronger.
Right.
I really, and this is just me in my own little activist mind, I feel like to an extent, we as people are consistently a part of Munchausen syndrome, where we enjoy being sick. We enjoy getting hurt so that we can say, look at me.
Do y'all?
I don't think it's a all, but I think it's a some.
No,
I do think it's a some.
I didn't say me, because listen.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, some people.
I understand what you're saying.
Some people prey on the ability to get sympathy from being sick versus moving forward to progressing to not being sick. And I do agree with that.
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. I was just joking.
Oh no. I know you well enough. So we're going to move along. And we talked about preventative. Are there any safety or harm reduction tips when mixing kink, sex, and cannabis?
I'll start. I think that respect is always across the board. That's something I live by. Respect and love is my life motto. So if you mixing cannabis, you mixing anything with your kinks or your love, I think that you should, one is consent, but it's having those hard conversations of like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. I'm a huge, I ain't gonna say huge cannabis. I don't want people to think I'm a pothead, but a little bit on weekends. But I like to consume cannabis when I am indulgent in sexual activities sometimes. It's not an always thing. It's not an always thing. I'm not dependent on it. But I enjoy cannabis for the natural qualities that it provides for me, of being able to relax, because I am very strict and regal and rigid. All that stuff, rigid when I come to like doing anything. So I think that being able to have that hard conversation with whoever you're engaging with sexual activities with, and it being honest, being clear, being precise, and then if you guys want to indulge with a little drink, want to indulge with a little cannabis, it should be a conversation of consent, of what I like, what I don't like, and someone respecting that. That's why I think that everything is rooted in respect and love.
Jahara?
First of all, if you're going to go to the party, come to the party with your own party trinkets, because you never know what you are getting. As we have watched fentanyl-related overdoses rise, and it's not just in methamphetamine. It's in the cocaine, it's in the ecstasy, it's in the Molly, it's even in the weed at this point. And a lot of people are. It's in the lube. See, the more you know. And a lot of people aren't knowing what they're getting because people are not being transparent about what they are giving to people. Also being very mindful and very conscious, like you spoke about respect. I'll take it, I'll fortify your point and also say trust and putting yourself and engaging in behaviors in trusted environments with trusted individuals, because you don't know what you're getting, from like a stranger or someone. And I will also say educate yourself as well. We're watching a epidemic happen with a particular substance within the Black and brown LGBT community, primarily with men that have sex with men, and that is methamphetamine. And it was a drug that was absolutely introduced from individuals that were outside of our lived experience without having the proper knowledge about this is what happens when you use this drug, and if you are not using it, responsibly, Jesus, that just came out of my mouth, that these types of adverse reactions can happen to you. So what you had was a lot of people engaging in a substance that they knew nothing about, and then the pursuit of having that same euphoric feeling that they felt when they did it the first time, not understanding that you will never be able to get that in return, on top of all the other things that can happen down the line. But the people who were giving it to them did not take the time out to educate them about what they were getting themselves into, let alone the person that was putting it in their body didn't take the time out to say, hey, if this is something that I'm going to try, to let me read up on it to see like how it's going to affect my body. How does it affect me sexually? You know what I mean? Am I going to be able to go to sleep? Am I going to be able to eat? Just understanding what you're getting yourself into before you get into. I think it's a big, important part of that. And I'm sorry I keep looking over my shoulder, but I know we in your living room, and I see you got dicks and whips as a centerpiece, and I'm gagging.
Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with having a little dick around. The only thing that I will add to what you all have said is when it comes to kink and BDSM, play responsible. And so, for instance, I don't believe in playing. If someone is high on a substance, whether I'm the top or the bottom in the scene, because I don't want you there. For instance, when it comes to flogging, there's certain places where you're not supposed to hit, so you're not going.
What's flogging?
Oh, what's flogging? Flogging is where you have a stick, and then you have the whips that look like the things at the at the car wash, and you put it on someone's back.
Oh, okay.
There's certain places that you're not supposed to hit. So, the kidneys. You shouldn't hit someone in their kidneys. It can cause damage. So I don't do impact play, and no one can do impact play on me if they're high on a substance.
Yeah.
Because listen, I like my body. However, you talked about the dicks in my living room.
Your centerpiece with dicks and whips as a centerpiece.
Well, guess what? It comes from a connection we have with this commercial. The commercial gonna tell you what you need. You get tested, test, play, repeat. Test, play, repeat. You get tested, you get the toy box, and if we roll that beautiful beam footage, they'll tell you more from Mount Sinai.
Hey, Michelle, what are you doing tonight?
Hey, Eric. Project BDAT is doing a toy with me party on Zoom.
Nice. What's that all about?
They focused on this and sex positive topics, and they're going to be offering free home HIV testing kits to Sinai Infectious Disease Center.
HIV home test kits? How does that work?
So they're going to share a link in the chat where you can sign up to get your home test kit.
Okay, I've been wanting to get tested, but I didn't really want to leave the house.
I feel you. You just give them your contact info, and someone from Cyanide will contact you to send out your free home HIV testing kits. They'll put it in an unmarked box to your mailbox.
Okay, then I do the test by myself? It sounds kind of difficult.
It's not that hard. Once you get the test kit, it's pretty easy. Just follow the step-by-step directions, and you'll get your results in about 20 minutes. Let Cyanide know that you took the test and what your results were, and you can even call them and they'll walk you through it. Cyanide will then contact Project Vita to let them know that you took the test, and they'll send you out a complimentary gift bag.
Can they also help me access PrEP and any other sexual health needs?
Yeah, of course. Cyanide partnered with Project Vita to provide sexual health education, prevention tools, and medical treatment to the community. And they have lots of services too.
Sounds awesome. I definitely want to go and get tested at home, and I'll do the toy with me party too.
We thank the beautiful people from Mount Sinai with that commercial. And I will say, in my personal life, the toy box comes in handy. I've used it several times and gave gifts from the
Several?
toy box.
I'm just...
Listen.
Several is a big word.
You can do a toy box
More
every
than
month.
one.
So I did some of the things in the toy box I've given away as gifts to other adults.
Oh, okay.
I gave something from my toy box to my former partner so that they can remember me when they go back home.
That's a good present. A little birdie told me that you could come to Project Vita and get an at-home HIV test. And if you take it and you get your results back, then you could get one of these here boxes. So maybe sis, we need
Yep.
hit Jerome them up at Project Vita and come get you a box.
You come in person. There's a walk-in
real.
testing Monday through Friday, even on Saturday. You call that number on the screen. There is a link. Click on the beautiful link. There's a QR code. Listen, you want to increase your sex life and your sexual experience, but you also need to play safe and know your status. And I told someone that knew their status to still get tested, because you never know what might happen. You might have something that you don't know about. All you got to do is test, play, repeat. Test, play, repeat. Yanni, let's put just a little bit of the tip in.
All right, so we're going to talk about how cannabis affects sexual health and pleasure. And it can calm anxiety and promote body connection, deepen presence, and think about motivate. Oh, Jesus, don't y'all judge me. Meditative organisms. Oh, I said that even wrong. Orgasms. Don't y'all judge me. CPS. If all else fail, I'm going to say CPS. But it can also numb or overstimulate if overused, enhance physical sensation, help reduce anxiety or performance pressure, delay or intensify orgasms, and increase body awareness, or it may alter arousal or orgasm responses. And different strains have different effects, which this is very true. As a person that has been in the industry for a long time, I have a lot of people that come to me, oh, should I do sativa? Should I do indica? Should I do hybrids? And I have studied people to know what they should do. So as a person that studies people based off of their age, their body mass, and their emotions, I've given them great references to different strains. So when you are looking at different strains, you need to take into effect your body mass, what emotional state you're in, what emotional state your partner is in. Those are things that you need to take into effect when you're picking different strains to consume when you're going to engage in sexual activity. So the tip of the day, it says, start low and go slow. Know
Smart.
how cannabis affects you before mixing it with sex or kink play, which is exactly what I was just stating. You need to know more about yourself when engaging with cannabis and taking that in to engage with sexual activity before you engage in sexual activity. Someone could say, oh, I had a sativa and it makes me feel, I'm highly energetic. For you, it may not be the same effect due to your body mass, your emotional state. So you have to take into effect those things before you engage with any strand. Don't take someone else's experience to be your experience when you're engaging with cannabis and sex play. So, yes, we're going to get into just a tip, and I'm going to pass it to Legendary Onyx.
Now, that was just a tip. But you can go deeper, baby.
Come on.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you immensely, Yanni. So just wondering, do we have any questions from our audience? If not, we're going to keep it moving. And a little birdie told me a little questions that the audience told me ahead of time.
Come on.
Okay.
You got to stay ready. You need to get ready.
You ain't got to get ready.
So,
Oh,
come on now.
Is there, so for me, cannabis,
We got a mic for you.
for me, cannabis increases pleasure, but I don't want to necessarily become dependent on it. Is there like anything you recommend to not get dependent on it, but still be able to use it and have fun when I want to play?
Come on, y'all.
I am a huge proponent of, so there's not a lot of sexual products or cannabis products that are promoted as much that I like. But I would say if you can find Mary's Medicinals, which, I'm plugging them, I want to check. But Mary's Medicinals patches are a good way for you not to have to smoke, not to have to do an edible. You put a patch on. It works for different things. I've used it for different things, but if you want to have it while you're engaging in sexual activity, it's a good way for your bloodstream to be infused with cannabis without the process of smoking or in taking an edible. Another thing that I like to use is lotions, any topicals. Those are great ways to help relax the body, help relax the muscles without it being completely in the bloodstream to make you have a psychoactive experience. So without you having to be super high, it may relax your muscles and that's it, which may make you feel like, I'm having a psychoactive experience, but it's not the same thing. When you smoke weed and you have a psychoactive experience, it's more of a mental thing. But cannabis can work on your muscles, on your bloodstream, and you not have that psychoactive effect. So I would advise those two things, maybe patches or topicals for any engagement with, getting your freak on.
and CBD is good too if you don't want to do THC or don't want to use traditional cannabinoid. CBD is a good alternative for that as well.
Yeah, I don't always talk about CBD, but CBD is very effective. It's not promoted as much because it doesn't have the psychoactive effects, but it has the therapeutic effects as far as relaxing your mind as well as your muscles. It helps with inflammation. So if you want to have those same effects of cannabis without being high mentally, CBD is a great alternative.
Got another question. Can using cannabis during solo sex, self-love,
A smoking stroke.
Come on.
what is a smoking stroke? I am blind.
Well, you smoke and you stroke. You smoke and you stroke.
Okay.
It's happened.
It's the ASMR for me.
What is that like? Not that you know.
It's therapeutic.
Okay.
I mean, you taking two things that you clearly enjoy, which is the pleasure of experiencing a sexual feeling, and of course the orgasm, and then also smoking weed, if that is your thing. You getting the best of both worlds all at the same time, and ain't got to worry about pleasuring somebody else or having to pass it to nobody else. So it's a win-win situation if that's your thing.
And I'm a huge advocate for self-love when you are engaging with any cannabis activities, because you're going to make it a mandate for whoever you're engaging in sexual activities with to perform in a way that is respectful to your body. So if you are doing what my friend here say, a smoking stroke, is a good way for you to connect with yourself on a higher level of like, oh, I like this, I don't like this. This helps me feel more connected with myself. So when you are engaging with someone else, you already have the mandate and the structure or the standards of how someone is supposed to please your body, without you letting them just go crazy and then being like, you're not doing this the way you need to be doing this.
I guess for me, I enjoy self-love. Like, I guess I might be telling a little bit too much of my business, but the longest I've edged was about 5 to 6 hours.
Oh my goodness.
Come on.
Greedy little man.
It helped enhance in the boudoir.
Yeah.
But also, one of the reasons they call me legendary is because how deep I go into headspace. And so when it comes to just, it's a euphoric feeling when you're meditating, touching yourself. And if you add an additional substance, why the fuck I need somebody else? The man behind the screen, is there any other questions from the audience?
Yes, we do have another question. How can partners communicate openly about combining cannabis and intimacy without judgment?
I guess I'll start. With me, I am a huge cannabis smoker. My partner is not. Maybe one puff, two puffs, that's it. I think you have to respect where people are, and they have to respect where you are. For me, I love engaging with cannabis because I get to experience a different version of myself. So I think it just has to be an open conversation. It has to be a clear conversation. It has to be a transparent conversation about what they like, what they don't like, because my partner may not want to like smoke a whole blunt with me or smoke a whole joint with me or smoke, out the pipe or whatever with me, but they may want to hit it 1 or 2 times. And if that's what they want to do, I don't need to be forcing them to be on the level that I'm at. So it just has to be a respect for the love of the person that you're with. If you only do 2 puffs or you do 1 puff, that's fine. But now don't judge me that I'm over here smoking the whole joint by myself, So I just think it has to be a transparent conversation about what they are comfortable with and what you are comfortable with, and then just ride that journey of being high together, whatever that looks like.
Jahari, I got a question for you.
Okay.
What should someone do if they get too high?
Stop getting high. I'm joking.
No, I mean, you might not be.
Okay, so I feel like everybody knows their limit. So if you reach the point where you smoking, and nothing about it is feeling any differently, yet you're just doing it to go through the motions, then 9 times out of 10, you've probably had enough and need to put it down for a second. And in the event that you do get too high and you want to be able to come down with weed, I found that drinking water, keeping yourself hydrated, milk is always a really, really good go-to. And believe it or not, I know that cannabis induces hunger, but eating something will bring that high down real quick.
Yeah.
So Or stop getting high. If it's not getting you high, you only can get so high, so stop.
Some people have a lot of anxiety too. When they get high, their anxiety like shoots to the ceiling. So it's not best for them to be like taking a strand that's like 23.5 THC. You know, maybe they may need CBD or another strand that helps them.
Yeah, that's funny because CBD actually counters a high.
Exactly. Yeah.
And they have it in so many forms. You also could chew pepper, corn, you know. It's a couple of different things that you can do to bring it down.
One of the things that people don't realize is that the same thing that makes you chill when you're high, in excess triggers anxiety. So sometimes people are like, oh, well, I don't know how much was in that brownie. That's why you ain't got anxiety when you got high from your edible.
The more you know.
Right. Like the tip said, go slow, go small, go slow. And don't trust your cousin who don't know how much is in it.
That part, especially if you the one that's got your cousin started smoking anyway.
Message. So it's been an amazing experience, but now it's time for announcements because we got to pay these bills.
Come on.
So just before we wrap up, an important reminder is that you want to tune into our show, you want to watch more, you want to see us in May. Guess what? Tour With Me is on YouTube. Join us for our next show, the next episode. We got new guests, we got new toys, we got new conversation. In addition, we have the Mind, Body, and Soul Health and Wellness Circle. They bring free mental, spiritual, and physical wellness services for Black, gay, bisexual, and same-gender loving men. Join us for some of the free fitness, dance, yoga. There's also cooking classes by Chef Blake and Chef Nick. On Mondays, they do from 6 to 8, they do meal prep Mondays. You just need to call 773-277-2291. That's 773-277-2291 to register. And coming soon, from 9 to 6 on Saturdays, they're doing facials and massages on Saturdays.
Okay, now.
In addition, don't forget, as we talked about earlier, you need a toy box. You need to be tested. You could either walk in, get an appointment. You see the number, you see the email. Test, play, repeat. Test, play, repeat. Now, do you all have any shameless plugs or plugs anyway?
I'll be back. That's the shameless plug I have. I'll be back. I have some projects in the working, so I'll be back.
Did you go anywhere? You didn't go nowhere. You just haven't been open to the community.
I've gone many places, seen many things. But I am working on some things within the cannabis community that will shine a light on what my passion is, which is Black ownership, Black economics within the cannabis industry, because I feel like a lot of our families and bodies have taken the loss of this industry that is being built and commercialized and capitalized. So I will be having a few projects, so I will be back if Onyx will have me.
If I'm lying, I'm light-skinned. We're coming back, baby.
Come on.
Ain't nothing light about you, brother.
Jahari, what about you?
As I stated, I have a residency every Friday and Saturday at Grapes and Grains in the Fulton Market area, 858 Westlake. I am literally playing a festival every month from June until September, and my business partner slash music director slash person slash co-lead, Sonny, and I are releasing our collaborative project on Memorial Day. So be on the lookout for that as well.
Wonderful. Do I got anything coming up? Look me up on social media. It's some things getting ready for IML. And on my Facebook page, I am I'm making sure I'm telling the people about my journey because I'm one of 7.
Talk yourself.
That's few.
It has been amazing to be here with Jahari and Yanni as we talked about being high, horny, and lifted and lit. We count it an honor and privilege to have you both here, and we look forward to seeing y'all back in the near future. And as always, stay curious, stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.